So we are live. Welcome to the 28th day of a live conversation. Yes, exactly. To launch the Sage Circle Alliance. I am Peggy Krause, and I am joined today by Mike Young. So we are going to be entertaining the all of you today. I'll just say a little bit about me and what I do, and then I can't wait to hear more about Mike and what he does. And little spoiler alert, I have a little info for what Mike does. But again, yes, I'm Peggy Krause, and let's see, I am a diabetes care and education specialist. I am an exercise physiologist. So when you put those things together, along with a passion for teaching people about plant-based diet, my focus is type 2 diabetes, and I love to teach people how they can reverse all that. Because type 2 diabetes, right, is the name that we've given to blood sugar numbers that are constantly high. Right? They're temporary. When you fix those blood sugar numbers, they come back down into range and you get off the medication because your numbers are good. You don't have high blood sugar anymore. You don't have type 2 diabetes anymore. It really is that simple, right? It's a matter of changing your diet, changing your lifestyle. It's not rocket science. So in any case, a little bit about me. I'm here on Eastern Long Island in New York, and it is a beautiful day. And Mike, where are you today?
I'm in Northern Virginia, Reston specifically.
Northern Virginia. Okay, nice day for you as well.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I'm indoors. Unfortunately, I'm in my studio. So I have I'm usually half the time I'm outside. Sometimes I'm in the studio, but I see you're more of a hybrid. I hear all the birds chirping, which is awesome over there.
Yeah, I don't have a studio. I have a living room, as you can see. Oh, popping into our picture is Kathleen. I have a living room, and Kathleen, nice to see
I
you.
only stopped in to say hi to both of you,
right.
two of my favorite people. So, two of my favorite vegans. What can I say?
Hey, Kathleen. Yeah.
I'm only here for a moment. Just wanted to say hi to both of you and out to, I was going to say La La Land, but out to StreamYard Land. So I'm going to say my goodbyes and have a good time.
All right. Thanks Kathleen.
Thanks for popping in. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah, that was cool. I wonder if you have any more surprise visitors today.
Well, yeah. Well, actually, let me let people know too that you gave a great introduction, and you said we're almost through the month of May, and I want folks to know that since this is a new organization, Sage Circle Alliance, that's kind of the goal of what we're doing here. Is we want to get out and do these live streams every single day for an entire month, right? So we're almost through that month of doing that.
Yeah, and it has been quite a marathon. So yeah, there have been so many people that have been doing these live streams that I'm seeing people really for the first time.
That's great.
And learning lots about them, what they do, and how they get started.
Yeah, and if people want to look at previous live streams, because as you said, Peggy, it's been happening every day. You can go either to the Sage Circle Alliance YouTube channel or the Sage Circle Alliance Facebook page, and it may even be in more places than that, but those are the ones I go to check on things.
Ditto, yeah. And when I can't listen live, it sure is convenient to have it on YouTube. And for some reason, my phone is not always so happy to get right on YouTube or to what I want to see. So it's so much easier for me just to go to Facebook and just click from there.
Yes.
Click from there.
That's
But
right.
Mike, tell me a little bit. I mean, I know about your health optimization cruise, but I don't really know anything else. So maybe start with that.
There's a lot to talk about. Okay. All right. First of all, on my right shoulder here is our organization, aplantbaseddiet.org. It's a 501c3 nonprofit, certified by the IRS in the United States of America. And really, we're an educational organization. It's something I founded 10 years ago already today. And it's funny because of the topic that you said, we have a community, the reason I started the organization was because I didn't know anybody that was plant-based or vegan 10 years ago, and I think everybody kind of knows somebody nowadays, but that was the reason. It was educational and a way to connect people. So my official position with the nonprofit is CFO. And until a couple of days ago, it used to just mean chief foodie officer, because I love to eat. I don't really cook that much. Okay. But now it's chief foodie and farming officer, because we have officially broken ground on our better than organic, chemical free, regenerative farm. So now I'm the chief foodie and farming officer of a plantbaseddiet.org. And what we really want to do ultimately is allow people to take control of their health. So I'm so excited because, like you said, we don't know much about each other. We will in this hour here, and other folks will learn about what we're doing. But I think it's fantastic that you're addressing the type 2 diabetes epidemic, which is really what it is. And like you said, it's something that doesn't necessarily and most likely have to even be there in someone that has it, right? Because it's one of those things we kind of rely on, like, let's say the World Health Organization, when we talk about these things, we call them non-communicable diseases, right? Type 2 diabetes is just one of many non-communicable diseases, most of which result from metabolic syndrome, as I know that you know, and almost all of them are modifiable, meaning preventable, haltable, or reversible. And unfortunately, approximately 75% of all illnesses and deaths, according to the World Health Organization, 7 out of the 10 of the top reasons for death are non-communicable diseases. So we are excited to tell people that there will soon be a time where humans are alive where we have eradicated all these non-communicable diseases, and we will live in a post-non-communicable disease world, I believe.
I agree that you don't have to have type 2 diabetes. You don't have to have rheumatoid arthritis. You don't have to have heart disease. Like, there's a way out, even if you have it. As you know, it's just so exciting that you can stop it. And we know how to do it. It's not brain surgery. Just you have to learn, and we all have teachers. It's nothing to be, I don't know, shy about. We all have teachers. We all have coaches. Let's just figure it out. Get help and figure it out in your own life. That's what your coach is for.
Yes. And like you're saying, you just need to learn, right? So the only requirement is open-mindedness and a willingness to learn something after your formal school education, which most people don't do, which shocks me. But every time I read about studies, they're like, yeah, most people stop their learning at their formal school education. I just can't believe that, but it doesn't require much. Like you said, just learn about it. That's all.
That's all. And just on a tangent to that, I want to say, in the healthcare community, so I know a doctor, I know a nurse, I know nurses. Their interest in the current literature, zilch. Like understanding of how we know like the continuum of, even, let's just say, HDL cholesterol. We know, we're learning now that really to measure HDL cholesterol and to depend on it as a way that it's going to lower your LDL cholesterol is not happening. So let's not talk about that anymore. Right. Let's move on. So I just wanted to add that not only do regular people not learn after they leave school, but there's doctors and nurses out there that are doing the same thing. They're sort of stagnant. The research is progressively interesting, and you've got to adapt.
I agree. So let me tell you how we've adapted actually through our nonprofit. When we started 10 years ago, like I said, I didn't know anybody that was plant-based or vegan. I really wanted to optimize my health, but at that point, I'm like, well, we got to start somewhere, So when we got into it, what was really big at the time were these veg fests, okay, which I'm sure you've heard of, others have heard of. Basically an outdoor, usually free celebration of all things plant-based, zero animal products. Almost always has an education component. And other things along with there, lots of food, lots of fun, like a festival type environment. So we were doing those. And up until about a year ago, we had just done in the last 2 previous years, 25 annual Veg Fest, just in the last 2 years. As of April 2023, which is the last festival that we did. And last summer we decided, well, we're not going to do this anymore. And let me explain why. First of all, it's really for awareness, we found, right? And back when we started, it was hard to find any plant-based, let's say, milks, cheeses, ice creams, plant-based meats. It was nearly impossible to find that except for tofurkey 10 years ago. Okay. So, but now every grocery store has all these things. So what are we delivering to people? What kind of new knowledge? So we realized in 2018, or at least some of the team did in 2018, after our first festival, which took place in 2017, that we need to concentrate on the food, because that is more than 50%, we believe, of lifestyle is your food choices. And you can't like out exercise a bad diet, for instance. So we developed the standard right here. We call it healthy vegan food. And what we wanted to do was, at our events, we would incentivize, and we did, food vendors that would bring at least one item that met the healthy vegan food standards. And if viewers out there want to know what that is, go to healthyveganfood.info. That will take you to a specific page on our nonprofit site, and you'll learn. And I can tell you what it is. What it is there's 6 facets to it. Number 1, no animal products. Number 2, no alcohol, because that's a group 1 carcinogen. Number 3, your prepared dish has to have actual plant fiber in it, because so many things don't these days. Number 4, no added oil. Number 5, no added salt. Number 6, no refined sugar. So we recognized, we did early on, that we couldn't in good conscience call anything healthy as a food unless it met that as a minimum. We don't claim that's the end all be all. We just claim like that's the minimum standard. So what we did was we incentivized food vendors at our festivals to bring at least one healthy vegan food dish. And we found that no matter how we incentivized them, almost nobody brought anything, So what ended up happening was we had some really challenging education. There are lots of practicing lifestyle medicine physicians, lots of people like yourself who's into diabetes specifically, other healthcare professionals, and then the food didn't match up, So we were like, what are we doing? And we kept trying to evolve these events, and we realized after a while, well, there are more and more vegan events happening, not just Veg Fest, but vegan events of all kinds that are festival type events, right? And what we also noticed was that the educational component was quickly vanishing from all these things. There really wasn't any education. It was just like a big version of a new version of like, let's say, a state fair or a county fair, that type of a vibe, I would say, almost, to where it's not really the best for your health. So we realized that we needed to move away from that. So we did. Now, you mentioned earlier in this broadcast the Health Optimization Cruise. That is our new event that we started planning before we decided to exit the festivals. We've been planning that since December of 2022. We've been planning it since then. We had our first event in January. We're already planning for next year as well. And people want to learn about that, you can go to healthoptimizationcruise.org. And that's the specific page on our nonprofit that talks about it. But that event and all the events that we do, from now on, we decided not only are we not doing festivals anymore, but every event the food has to meet this at the minimum, this healthy vegan food standard. And we feel a lot better. Okay, I feel like, okay, I'm actually helping people for sure, right? Because we had to evolve to get to that point. Because like you mentioned, and as I mentioned earlier too, 10 years ago, I didn't know any vegans. It was hard to find these things, but now they're everywhere. So we need to challenge people at the next level. So hopefully that's what we're doing. And if you'd like to, I can tell you about some other initiatives that we're involved in that you probably don't know about either, that are much higher level. Because like I said, this is the minimum now. That's the minimum. And as you are probably aware, you probably don't know any restaurant that serves any food like I described. You probably don't know any special events that have any of the food I described. But we have other stuff that's even higher level than that. Okay. Sure. Well, one of the things I mentioned is that, I'm now, as of this past weekend, because I planted a whole bunch of cherry trees and grapevines on our farm, which is called Mountain Ridge Farm in Virginia. And I'm now a farmer, because I'm actually when I say a farmer, I mean someone who's actually doing the work, because that's something we also noticed in our events. When we were incentivizing healthy vegan food, one of the things we said was, look, if you're a farmer and you're growing plants and you bring them to our event to sell them produce, that meets our definition. You know, you're automatic, and actually you get in for free. That's how we incentivize farmers. We're like, we know you work hard. So if you're a farmer and you're growing it, you get in for free. Unfortunately, kind of what we realize too is that a lot of farmers don't actually grow. They're like middle people, you know? You may not even realize this. So it's, and we also realize there's a whole I don't know, continuum of knowledge about what your food is that you're eating and how it's grown. And we also recognize that, and I've talked about this with others in some of these talks here with Sage Circle Alliance in the last month, is that you don't know what you're buying as produce unless you're growing it yourself. Because unless you're growing it yourself, you're just taking somebody's word that it is what they say it is. And you have no proof. You know? So we know people don't tell the truth, unfortunately. So this is a big, anyway, so we're now farmers. I'm a farmer. We have many projects we'd like to get started that are basically growing our own plants. So that's one thing that we're into. Now this talk for Sage Circle Alliance, you know, is talking about community, the importance of community. And that's something that we are really into and have been into since the beginning. I want to open my phone and go to my website so I can look at our menu and tell you accurately where to look. If you want to go to our website, plantbaseddiet.org, we have many communities. I am huge into social media and have been for more than 10 years, probably 15. And there's a tab on our website called Online Community Groups. When you click on that tab on the website, it says Online Community Groups. This is how we develop our audiences. I mean, yes, we have a YouTube channel. Yes, we have an Instagram. We even have a calendar, actually, because we do events, right? That's how we're building community online, and we're building community through our events. And that's also one of the things that I like about Sage Circle Alliance is it's bringing all these people together, all these organizations together that are also doing these same things so that we can leverage the knowledge, the experience, the contacts, everything so that everyone, you know, can make their events and their community outreach better. So if you look at that tab, you'll find that we have groups on every social media platform, or most of them. The ones that are really good into groups, let's say, for instance, like Facebook, right? There's all kinds of groups. We have so many local and worldwide groups on Facebook, and you can find them on our website. And another one is like LinkedIn, which I think is excellent. Like you mentioned earlier about the doctors and health professionals not keeping up with the literature. I don't see that on LinkedIn. I see a lot of people that we are gathering together, like a lot of Sage Circle Alliance members. We have a lifestyle medicine group, for instance, that we started on LinkedIn. There are groups there. And we're seeing a lot of intelligent, forward-thinking conversations about this. And kind of like say the reason for Sage Circle Alliance is to develop community, right? And the purpose of this talk is to talk about it. I'm excited. You know, I guess I'm excited about all facets of this. I just can't. I wish it would happen sooner. You know, I don't know how you feel about that.
Well, for me, it was almost like there were all these pieces that were, and it was, you know, that Meryl and Paul would say it's coming together. But for me, it was still like the universal. And all of a sudden, when I saw the website, I was immediately just formed like a puzzle, and I'm like, I'm in. Yeah. And yeah, the community is like, these are people I would have never met before.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm able to, you know, like V-Lynn and Kathleen and their Vegan Visibility Productions, like
marketing. Yeah.
Like how at that, but they only take vegan clients.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Like how selective for their own personal view. Like they are helping people who are trying to help people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is awesome. And then of course there are doctors, you know, you have like Dr. Furman is there, Dr. Nikki, her last name escapes me, but these are people who now I have immediate access to. We're on the same committees, same groups, same bureaus, and we're working on projects together. It's and I've met you now, Mike. Yeah. Right, and the next time I'm.
Yeah, just us. I mean, I love that you're into diabetes because I know that I've met other people in the same similar space that you're in, and it's exciting because you can have such a direct positive impact on individuals there. If you're able to transfer that knowledge, which I'm sure that you have been successful at doing that, and that's why people get into healthcare, right? Because they want to, in a way, I mean, you have the ability to heal people, right? To cure people of that condition. Am I right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, the leading cause of blindness in the United States is diabetes.
Yeah.
Well, there's one thing you can just check off your list. Like, I don't got to get that. I don't have to have kidney failure. Even if those things have begun, plant-based diet and the right lifestyle behind it, gee whiz, now you can minimize the damage, you can heal the tissues. And yeah, you had said about how so my training is as an exercise physiologist, and I work in cardiac rehab.
Right.
So the whole diabetes thing was really not type 2 diabetes was just one of the chronic conditions that we saw a lot of in cardiac rehab. But one of the nurses had said something to a patient. She said, "Oh, and so, don't, just watch your blood sugar as you go home. A couple hours later, it can still drop, and just be careful, keep measuring." And I thought, well, if exercise could drop somebody's blood sugar like that, and that he's got to be concerned about, like, what else can do it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so that sort of started me to think, like, maybe I should look into this. So, reading the research and whatnot, and then I started working for a group, Wellness Foundation, which was a local group here in Long Island, and part of our advisory council, Dr. Furman, Dr. Esselstyn, T. Colin Campbell, Rip Esselstyn, like all the big names. Yeah, and that was, but so from all of that, and the fact that there's an answer to this problem that we call type 2 diabetes, and so that's where I built Erasing Diabetes. So while I was in primary care up until a couple months ago, that the reimbursement model of today's healthcare is really in need of repair. So I mean, as a certified diabetes care and education specialist, for which I have special training for what causes type 2 diabetes, how we treat it superficially with medications.
What would you call that? You call that? We call that managing symptoms.
Managing symptoms. Exactly, because it does nothing. It actually prolongs any kind of benefit or cure or treatment. Yeah, you're right. It is managing symptoms. But I forgot what I was saying.
Well, it's okay. I just want to mention something. You'd comment on something you just said a paragraph or two back. In my mind, I knew the paragraphs. Blindness. I mean, it's funny because not funny. It's sobering, really. Is that I talk to people that have vision issues, and I will bring this subject up that you're talking about here, and they say, "Oh, no, that's not what's going on with my eyes." And of course I know what their diet is. And I'm like, of course this is what's going on with your eyes. They're like, no, I have this condition that has a name, right? We've been diagnosed. Well, sure, of course, you got a gazillion type of conditions, they all have names, but they all lead to blindness, like you were saying, right? And or impaired vision, or some kind of combination of that. And we find that the underlying issue here is too high of a percentage of calories from fat in their diet. And I will say it straight up to people, and they're like, "Oh, no, that's not. You don't understand." But I think it's all an issue of education, or lack of education, and lack of open-mindedness, right? I mean,
Oh my gosh,
that's just what it is.
Yeah, we are in. I'm going to jump back to cardiac rehab. We also do rehab for peripheral artery disease. So for those who might not know, that is, so like we treat people for blockages around the heart, the arteries around the heart. Peripheral artery disease is blockages in the arteries in your legs, and people are debilitated. They can't even walk to the mailbox without being in excruciating pain.
Right.
Anyway, we have this patient now, and I approach him, and I've learned a whole lot of things what not to say in cardiac rehab, because I don't always get support from administration, from the
Right.
registered dietitian, right? So I come to it as so I say to him, so a couple of years ago we had a fellow, much like you, same age group, that who had peripheral artery disease, and he changed his diet. With this
Well,
young man,
just so viewers know, I am 54. 54 years young.
58.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and I said, for this man, he changed his diet and didn't even realize that it was his diet that was causing the peripheral artery disease. Because when he changed his diet after 3 weeks, the pain was gone after years and years and years.
3 weeks.
And this man on the treadmill, and he's in pain because he's like, oh, I'll go on. He said to me, my dad and my father had it. It's just going to be what I got. I got to live with it. I was like, no, really. And he was just so close the door. What am I going to do? It's like I approach him again, and I get the open-mindedness, just like you said, Mike. Maybe when enough people approach him, I don't know if you've ever heard the excuse or the reasoning, or I could never eat like that.
Right. Oh, all the time. Yeah, all the time. Or I've been doing it for so long, I'm not changing now. But all these things. I mean, but all that is also the 5 people you hang around with the most, right? Because they're going to influence you. So we also believe that we'll reach a tipping point where that peer pressure will turn positive rather than the negative that it is right now. And that's what the Sage Circle Alliance is going to help with, right? We need to reach that tipping point by bringing everybody together, because it's only a matter of time. I'm very much an optimist here. And this Sage Circle Alliance, brand new organization, right? This is what we need at the right time, I think.
I agree. It's just it's building and building and building. And what I didn't like for the last 6, 7, 8 years is that this expert says ABC, another expert says ABD, another expert says ABE. Like, if we just agreed on 99% of the same thing, it's okay that we have a little differences. That's fine. But now I think we're bringing together, Sage Circle Alliance is bringing together people with differences and finding common ground. And we're singing the same song.
Yes.
Right? And it's wonderful that the teachers have the same song, and the doctors have the same song, and the writers have the same song, right? We all are singing the same tune.
Yes. Well, let me ask you a question based on something you mentioned earlier, because you told everyone, including me, that you're, I think, an exercise physiologist. Is that right? Okay. And I mentioned earlier that, at least I believe, you can't out-exercise a bad diet. Not to say that exercise isn't beneficial, because it truly is. But what do you think about that? What do you think about that statement? I
think you're right. I mean, for me, as much as I love exercise and I love learning and doing and all that stuff, I always thought that diet was more powerful as far as a health changer. And like you said, you cannot run a bad diet.
Well, with also with that, I want to give a caveat that we do believe that daily vigorous aerobic exercise, there's nothing better than that for your mental health. That we definitely want to transmit that to folks out there. You got to get that daily vigorous aerobic exercise, not only mental health, but I think you're going to sleep better too, because you're going to be tired.
I agree. Yep. I mean, exercise has so many good side effects. There are no bad side effects from exercise.
And well, unless you're doing a really risky sport, right?
In
Risky sport.
in the right dose, there's not you're gonna, like you said, you're gonna sleep better, you're gonna think better, your skin is gonna look better, you're gonna breathe better, you'll you'll have more energy. There's so
Yeah.
many things.
Yeah. And I'd say
Um,
that there's no better antidepressant than vigorous aerobic exercise. What do you think about that?
Absolutely. Actually, I don't even know what it was. Just the other day, I was looking for a research source of that, and there were like more than I could imagine. And that's
Right.
one of the things that we document in cardiac rehab. We document what their mood is and their depression level before, and we always see it go up.
Right.
Exercise is just a natural mood lifter that, and it can,
Do you know what the science behind that is? Because like I don't take a deep dive into the science so much, but my layman's explanation of what you just said would be, well, that vigorous. I'm talking about. I tend to focus on vigorous aerobic exercise rather than strength training or mild. Okay, something that's really going to get that heart rate up and keep it up for at least 30 minutes a day. That's kind of what I'm focusing on, and not too intense, right? Not risky sports, but that vigorous aerobic exercise is going to get get everything going. And you may have been ruminating on something in your mind, but you don't care about that anymore because all of a sudden your body's worked up. You got other more important things to deal with. And I feel like, much of, again, my layman's terms, much of depression is ruminating on the past. So how can you ruminate on the past if you are just pumped up and you got to focus on this intense exercise that you're doing? You can't.
exactly. You can't. That We know that exercise is 1.5 times more effective than medications like Xanax. So it's proven, like, and we have a number how much more. 1.5, so it's not as equal,
Well, I
right?
think
It's
it's
more
more.
equal.
I think
Yep.
it's more than that, because if you're doing exercise that is not risky, it has zero side effects, right? So
Mhm.
that you're comparing against something that has all kinds of side effects as pharmaceuticals, right?
That's true. That's absolutely true. Um, and I just wanted to mention the whole, how I sort of dumbed down the exercise. Exercise is so complicated with the the muscle fibers, the muscle bundles, and the hormones that are released in adrenaline, norepinephrine, blah, 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 blah. Like,
Yeah.
I forget all that. When somebody just wants to know why I should exercise, I tell them that, going back to, you might have read the book, Younger Next Year by Harry Lodge and Chris Crowley.
Maybe I need to.
They say in their book that it's all a matter of growth versus decay. If you exercise moderately, vigorously, yes, it's all about growing. You're challenging your body
Yes.
to repair and renew and grow and repair and renew over and over and over again. But if you sit on the couch and you're idle,
No.
it all starts to decay. So you've got to
Use it or lose
choose.
it. Yeah.
Which do you want? Do you want growth or you want decay?
Yeah. Use it or lose it. I mean, I also say that no one stays the same. You're either getting better or you're getting worse at everything.
That
So yeah, you got to put a little effort forth all the time. It's something that's important to you, I'd say. And you mentioned books too. I also want to kind of throw out. I have nothing for sale here, but it's a free resource that we have through our nonprofit. It's a book that I wrote. I'm only 54, I know, but I have a lot of life experience. Once you're over 50, I think you reach the age of wisdom, according to what a lot of people will say. And I wrote a book called Live to 150, because my hypothesis is that we all recognize that the average person lives to about 75. And you and I think, more than maybe the average people, Peggy, know that the average person does almost everything wrong. When I say wrong, I mean all their habits, the food they're eating, the lack of this exercise that we're talking about, and all kinds of other things. Like you mentioned, well, my dad had this, right? One of your patients said this. Well, of course, because that's who taught you this stuff, right? And it's not necessarily genetic. It's just what you do it because they did it, and you'll get the same results by doing the same things. So my book basically says what would happen if we did almost everything right. And I do believe that there are so many facets to this, and that's why my book is very long. It's 150 chapters long, and it's, although it's a zero waste, it's online. I'll give you the shortcut. It's on our website, but if you go to liveto150.org, live250.org, it's a playlist on our YouTube channel. You can just listen to it like an audio book or a podcast, and it's extremely long, very detailed. It's all about habits. It's all about, the general idea of how life works, which you described so beautifully, which is, you have to, anything that you don't want to, I guess, have bad results, like the exercise thing. The body will shut down, like you said, when you explain to it by sitting that it's not going to do anything anymore. So you have to challenge it.
Yes.
Right. And there's so many factors in this. And like I said, I'm very much an optimist. And I do think that you should expect to double your lifespan. If you take a deep dive into this space of health span and longevity, you should be able to double your lifespan, I believe.
I agree with you. Adding many, many years to your life, happy years, like healthy, happy years, not just how we lived like the last decade and a half now, sort of, with achy joints, not being able to move, with a laundry list of medications and doctor's visits all the time. Not that, like you said, like vivacious living.
Yes. I mean, that's what we call it, like health span, right? That not just the lifespan, but the part of your life where you're actually healthy and you're doing what you want to do. Because that's also a thing that we believe, is that life is meant to be fun. You should be able to do whatever you want all the time, whatever age you are. Because if you're not, then that leads to you not feeling too good about yourself. If you realize that, well, I've got this condition and I can't really do, it doesn't feel good. And I don't mean to minimize anything that is outside of the non-communicable disease realm, because, obviously people get in freak accidents and things. And I think our emergency care physicians are amazing. But I wish it didn't happen to anyone. Those types of things we are not discussing here, I think, right, Peggy? I mean, because that's something we don't have any control over. We're talking about stuff we actually have control over.
Right. Lifestyle diseases.
Yes.
Right. It's what was, and you had mentioned the other bit just before about how that is what, so my patient did what his father did, and he got the same disease. Right, you got the peripheral artery disease, and it's the same recipes. I love to say them when they say to me, "Oh, but someone, my mother had that. Well, runs in my family." Well, so do recipes.
Right.
If you're
Right.
passing down the same harmful recipes.
Yeah, and along that note that you're hitting on right now is the subject of epigenetics, which I'm sure you're probably somewhat familiar with. I have a chapter in the book on it. Basically, for folks out there that don't understand what it is, you don't need to take a deep dive into science. You just need to understand that your body will change the expression of the genes based on the input it receives from you, right? And in most cases, the input can be exercise, right? If you decide to give it exercise, which most people don't do, unfortunately, and the correct food. So you can change the entire outcome based on the inputs that you decide to give your body.
Agree. It's like I tell the people with diabetes who I work with, there are 5 things so important, but 4 things, let's talk 4 things, and critically important. It's what you eat, how you move, what you think, and how you sleep. Right? Oh my gosh, all of them can drive your blood sugar way up, or all of them can settle your blood sugar down, and you can throw away your stupid glucose meter and your medication, of course, with your doctor's blessing, and be done with it. And that really is sort of my approach. Like I have been trying to not work with people who have inflammation or whatever, PCOS. Well, I love to focus on diabetes because that's where I know what to do with the numbers. I know when the numbers should come.
You're an expert. You're an expert with that.
Yeah. But that is I I love to focus, even though those 4 things will pretty much fix anything. Yeah,
Mhm.
right, right.
Yeah, yeah, I fully agree with that. Absolutely. I mean, that's it. And all of this should be taught to people as an important subject in school, I think, at a very young age.
Oh,
because because that way we don't have to try to find people who are willing to relearn all this as adults. That's part of the problem right now.
that is yeah, relearning. That is the whole thing. If people didn't know anything at all, and then you got, and then we're diagnosed with type 2 diabetes or heart disease, whatever, and we would say, all right, well, this is the way to eat.
Hmm.
It's okay, thank you for that. No, instead, I'm sure you've heard it too. Oh no, give up chicken. Chicken is a health food.
Yeah.
Like, oh, yeah, so it's unlearning
That's
those habits that I find is, but that's where the open-mindedness really
Yeah,
comes
so yeah, of course, and we're seeing. I want to throw out some more, positive information here. We are seeing through the work that we're doing with our organization that we're seeing children being raised from preconception with these ideas now. All right. I mean, it's unbelievable because I didn't know anybody that was vegan my entire time in school. Okay. And now people are raising not a lot, just a few. We're seeing some rather than none, okay, that are being raised from before they're born with this information. So we're hopeful. And actually, that leads to something else I wanted to talk about that our nonprofit here is doing, because we're talking about community here. We are involved with intentional communities. And the ones that we're involved with right now that are functioning are in Ecuador, if you know what that is, which is in South America. It straddles the equator, which is why it's called Ecuador. And the whole idea behind these communities, if you go to our website and click on Intentional Communities tab, I think it's under Who We Are, and then you'll see Intentional Communities. You'll see that there's 2 of them, Terra Frutis and Fruit Haven, 2 different communities. But here's the idea, okay? Because I think we're in agreement that you got to teach people young, right? If you
right.
can, and you got to surround yourself with people that are going to positively influence you in this regard, rather than pull you away from it. So that's what this community is about. These communities are they're a little bit different. Terra Frutis is the more strict one, and let me talk about that because we have a house for rent. It's called La Casa Mas Alta. Denise and I built it. It's a tiny house. My wife is Denise, and it's on Airbnb. So if you go to lacasamasalta.org, La Casa Mas Alta is like the highest house. That's what it means in Spanish, and it's up on the mountainside because we're in the Amazon rainforest there in southeast Ecuador. The people that founded Terra Frutis, they wanted to find a community where they could grow food all year round outdoors. So you have to be near the equator, of course, where there are no seasons. You have to be at the right elevation where it's hot but not too hot and it doesn't get too cold. You want to find places that have very little weather patterns, such as hurricanes and other things that might just come in one day and wipe you out, or earthquakes or tsunamis. A lot of tropical places are islands, right? So they're probably near a plate barrier and they get tsunamis on a regular basis. Unfortunately, that's what happens, right? If you know your geography and geology and plate tectonics and all that. So anyway, that's why the people founded these areas about 12 years ago, I think it was. And they're completely vegan, of course, no animal products. They're repurposed animal fields, cow fields that were out there. So they were not forests. They were being roamed by cows and turned into grass. Now they're repurposed into permaculture, right? Which is not agriculture. Permaculture is for generations. Agriculture is for the current season, and making money. Permaculture is for forever, hopefully, if you do it right. You can live off of it. And they are also better than organic. They are zero waste. They're better than organic, chemical free. In addition to chemical free, they're also zero waste. And at Terra Frutis, they don't use animal manures when they're growing their plants. They don't even have, let's say, for instance, I know this is a stretch because this whole idea, if you're not familiar with it, it's probably already blowing your mind that you didn't know that this was happening, okay? But there's no pets allowed, no domesticated animals, no farm animals of any kind. Because a lot of times people will talk about regenerative, and they are regenerative there at Terra Frutis, but they use animals in their farming for regenerative practices. They don't allow that at Terra Frutis. You don't need that. If you needed it, it's one thing, but you don't. Okay, just like we know, we don't need to eat chicken, like you said. We don't. You're going to survive. You're going to thrive, actually, if you don't do that. So anyway, that's the community. They thought of everything to the nth degree. And it's a community right now of, I don't know, maybe 10 people, maybe sometimes more, depending on if there's volunteers there. They've got properties for sale, actually. And let me also say, when I say for sale, I don't mean at US prices. I mean like the least expensive real estate you've probably ever seen. Because I know that's one of the things right now. It's like, gosh, I can't eat healthy. Have you seen the prices for organic produce? Well, it's almost nothing in these communities, right? So it all makes sense on every level. It's kind of checks off all those boxes, and it makes sense because if it's really the right thing to do, shouldn't it be the least expensive thing? I mean, what? Because I know that we're in a world where it feels like, oh, I got to have X number of dollars to be able to live that way, to be healthy and everything, and that's not true. It's a fallacy. I mean, it may be true in the United States because of the systems that we have right now, which make things unaffordable, but it's, we're in a world where you're connected, like you and I, right? We're not even in the same state. Well, I know I told you I'm in Northern Virginia, but what if I told you I was at Terra Frutis in Ecuador?
Because I never know. Except maybe you'd be outside.
Right. I would, but I'm saying we have high-speed, reliable internet there thanks to Starlink, the new service that launched about a year ago or a year and a half ago. Now you can go anywhere in the world, anywhere, and you could do a video chat like this. You could work, you could earn money. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a whole new paradigm of life, and we're involved. We have these projects. Like I said, they're on our website. Check them out under Intentional Communities. Ask me other questions. We're always thinking of new ideas too for places like this, because if you really think it through, there are so many unexplored lifestyles, and like you said, that lifestyle is it. Because we're all down here. I think society is way down here, right? Right now, pretty low level of consciousness.
Yes.
But there are so many high levels that we have yet to explore. Before I forget too, you mentioned lifestyle medicine. I know I mentioned lifestyle medicine. I wanted to focus on that for a moment because a lot of the doctors with Sage Circle Alliance, I think most of them that I know, like Dr. Harrington, Dr. Furman, Dr. Clapper, others, I do believe that they're all board certified in lifestyle medicine. And I wanted to let folks know that that's the future of integrating what Peggy and I are discussing here into the current healthcare system, because these doctors that are board certified, practicing physicians, board certified in lifestyle medicine, they have the knowledge, right? They had to learn all these things in order to get that specific board certification. So look for one. That's who you want to look for as your own personal doctor.
Absolutely. Yeah. Which is not, there's not enough of them. So it might be a little bit difficult in your area. However, many of the board certified lifestyle medicine docs are certified in many states. So they can provide care via telemedicine, but in different states. Not all, so please check. But I'm hoping, I think that one of the things that will be available exactly for the Sage Circle Alliance will be that.
Yes.
I want one.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I want one. So bringing your community, I mean, you've got so much going on. You have a 150 chapter book, which has its own community. The people who've read it, the people who talk about it, right? And then all those other things that you do.
Yeah. Well, it's exciting because we see the future just unfolding, right? Like for instance, in this intentional community called Terra Frutis in Ecuador that I described, in the last year, we've had a family move in with kids. We didn't have any kids there before. It's all like a process. It's a journey along these ideas. And I think if we're doing the right thing, the right people will show up. And I think that's also kind of what Sage Circle Alliance is thinking. If this is the right thing to do, bringing everyone together in this space, where we're taking care of ourselves, the animals, and the planet, then people will just show up, and they have shown up. Like yourself. I mean, like you said, we until this talk here, we really don't know each other at all until now.
That's right. I love of course, the diet and the animals and the planet, like that, the perfect trifecta. Like, how much more could one thing, or it all comes together. The three together: the health, animals, and the planet. Oh my gosh, they're so interrelated. And now we have people together we're all together as one, like Paul Chatlin would say. We have a voice. Our voice is stronger for advocacy, for helping people, for changing laws and culture and society. And like when we were just all over the place, when we were at the beginning stages, and I was like, oh, there's so many different moving pieces. But then I don't know what it was about that website, like a vacuum. It all came together, and that now we have one voice crying for three factors.
That's right, and that's our slogan too for our nonprofit. Our slogan is for people, animals, and our planet. That is our slogan. For if you see it on the website. But anyway, but everyone, like you said, everyone in the Safe Circle Alliance is all in alignment with that, and it's all necessary. And the funny thing is too, I don't know if you consider this now, but we have. This is why I'm on the think tank. We have a think tank group in Safe Circle Alliance that I'm involved with. Because I'm always thinking about these things, and what we've recognized is that in order to benefit the Earth, the planet, and animals the most, and especially the Earth, actually for animals too, you must optimize your health, because every time you take a step towards health optimization, those two benefit, and they will not benefit to the highest degree unless you optimize your health fully. So you will never be able to fully benefit the animals unless you fully optimize your health. You will never be able to fully benefit the environment unless you optimize your health. The other two are not the same. You can optimize those two without optimizing your health. So that's why another reason why we focus on our health.
Absolutely, and you know, even if animals and the planet are not yet on your agenda as far as optimizing your health, right? Think of the people who love and depend on you. You know, this is your chance to really to make sure that they have you, right? They don't want to be without you, and I'm in the sandwich generation. You probably are too. But so we have aging. My mom is 84. My mother-in-law is 96. My kids are 26 and 21.
Yeah. So that's right. We have some free time, right? Because they're not raising kids. That's already passed. Some.
Yeah. Mine is still home. Well, actually, it's school home. But you know, there's nothing that I want to see happen more than all four of them be able to be independent, and especially the older folks, you know, be independent and eat right, just because that is going to make my job easier as being the little sandwich person.
Yeah, and also it's more fun for them. If some people are independent, they just feel better about themselves, you know. And also, again, the focus on this, that you brought this up earlier too. I don't care about the quantity of your years. I care about the quality. The quantity is a side benefit of high quality life. That's what we want. We want you to be able to do whatever you want, whenever you want, and if you are independent, you truly can, right? I mean, so those two things together you can't ask for more, really, as far as we know at this point in time.
Agree. You know, Mike, I think we should make we should say something about the fact that, so Mike, you and I are both founding members of Safe Circle Alliance. We were there from almost the conception, right? That was
been, like you said, it's been a process to get to this point, because really it just officially launched May 1st, right? Is the official launch, I think it was, of the organization.
Yeah. And then I think we had the birthday party from when Paul Chatlin and Meryl Fury, when they sort of brought the two of them, when they got together and they conceptualized this. That was May 17th or so. But now, what is it now? The 28th. So we have just a couple more days. We're asking for people who really would like to amplify their voice and reach more people and know more. And the education piece is huge. You can learn from all of us. We're happy to help. We have a speakers bureau, and
That's
there's so many things, so many entities of Sage Circle Alliance. I'm so excited for the newsletter that's going to be coming out.
Yeah.
You know, with that will spotlight some the members, and we'll host whether it's blogs or things like that. But I said all that to say is that we are inviting people to come join us as a charter member, and you will get 10% off of your annual membership. There is, if you go to our website, sagecirclealliance.org, scrolling, I think on the bottom of the screen now, you will see that there are several different levels of membership. So of course, student, everything from student and volunteer, all the way to a much more involved membership tier. I'm not sure what that's called, business, and we invite you to choose one of those and become part of us, because together we can change the trickle down. It's happening, but we gotta push. We
It's a
gotta make this happen.
Yeah, right now it's grassroots, I'd say. Would you say that right now?
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, so we need this. It's absolutely required. If this resonates with you, I tell people all the time, vote with your dollar. It doesn't cost that much to join this organization, and it's well worth it, because this has to be done this way. We are not going to hear this from the top down. I don't know why. I mean, I kind of do know why, but that's not the purpose of this video. But all we have to do is agree that it's bottom up. It's grassroots, so we need to gather together. This is the right time to be doing this.
Mike, you had said you didn't know anybody who was plant-based, vegan, whatever, for 10 years.
Yeah.
I had
10 years ago. Yeah.
10 years ago. So I had a similar situation, even though I was hooked up with it. I worked for an organization who promoted that. There was nothing like it. I was like a lonely voice in the wilderness almost, because the doctors would come up to us and say, "What is it that you're trying to do? Oh, that's never going to work. That's not going to work. And your sick people are going to come to, they're going to be knocking on my door. Like, that ain't happening."
So you're saying that was the talk 10 years ago, you're saying?
Yeah, exactly.
But has that changed more recently?
Yes, because through our programs for Wellness Foundation, we had doctors, several doctors take our program, and they were like, "Wow, I can't believe that." How they came to our program is because we did lab work on our participants before and after, right? They had lab work done, and oh my gosh, the difference in whatever cholesterol or body weight that we saw, and these people would go back to their doctors. We required a doctor's consent. So they went to their doctor and they said, "I'm going to go do the wellness challenge. I need a script for lab work."
Right.
Did that. Then they had to get a second script for lab work. So they had to go back to their doctor. So then when the doctors saw the labs and compared the labs, the doctors were like, "Oh," that opened the door. So we had doctors take our program.
Yeah.
And that was just incredible, because then they were promoting our program to their patients.
Wonderful. That's excellent. And also, you mentioned that our organization does this health optimization cruise once a month, or not once a month. I would love to do once a month, once a year. It's an annual event. You can find out about it on our website, or healthoptimizationcruise.org. But we kind of bring that together too. We don't do the labs, but we have practicing lifestyle medicine doctors that you're eating with. All the food meets the standard. I just want to let people know, because Friday at 11:30 p.m. is the end of our early bird pricing. So it's actually going to go up $200 a person. If you guys are interested, just go to the website. But I am so happy to be in the Sage Circle Alliance, because we're already getting connections through the speakers group, like you said, at Sage Circle Alliance, because we want to have that educational component, that challenging and relevant education. And like in our event, people are actually there, right? It's in person, so you can kind of rub elbows and shoulders with these people and ask them specific questions and things, and also be around people that are doing this, right? Like I said, we think it's positive peer pressure, and just as much as the Sage Circle Alliance helps on networking, which is what we're doing here basically, we need to have these in-person events. That's what we're doing anyway as an organization. We're really events. And actually, let me tell you, in case you want to see our calendar's on Eventbrite for our events, and it's at plantbasedevents.info. That takes you straight to our calendar. You can even follow us there, so you can see what we're doing. But again, I want to thank the Sage Circle Alliance because it's opening new doors for not just for us, but for all the members of Sage Circle Alliance. And like you mentioned, the change in the doctors at your workplace over the years, I mean, I can only imagine the changes that Sage Circle Alliance is going to enable. So it's enabling is usually a bad word, but in this case, we're going to enable positive things to happen. It's usually the other way around. Actually, if the Sage Circle Alliance didn't exist, if it didn't exist, it probably would enable that bad dynamic to continue. But now that the Sage Circle Alliance is here, as of May 2024, the whole SCA is enabling positive change. So I'm really happy about that.
Me too. Me too. We are sowing seeds, and for people, I think who have been sown before, who have the seed already planted, they hear it again. Maybe it'll be just more impactful, and hopefully that will pull in more providers, more businesses, more just people who support plant-based, vegan people, businesses, whether it's customer to business, business to business. Love it. Sage Circle Alliance, thank you.
Yes, thank you. Yes, thanks to Paul and Meryl. It was there, like you said, it was a little over a year ago they had the idea. So that's so thankful.
And it's come a long way. Very
Yes.
good. I look to so many more years and things and events and people. So Mike, it was really a pleasure to get to know you better. And for all that are watching, thank you for being here. It was my pleasure. And again, Sage Circle Alliance. Let's get that little ticker going on here.
There it is.
Sage Circle Alliance, right? And we're charter members, 10% off. Go ahead to our website. Wait, where's that? Here it is. Sorry, I got the wrong banner going on there. And yeah, visit our website and sign up. Just be one of us. Yeah, we can do this. We can do this. All right, Mike. Any last words? I've said mine.
Well, I hope you're going to have, I'm sure you either had or are going to have an amazing lunch that is going to enhance your health. And I look forward to the day when everyone does that as the default.
Thank you. Me too. And thank you. All right, Mike. Take care. I'll see you around.
Yep.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.